What is up, fight fans? Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media, and we are here today for the 10-second mark with a very special guest. He is going to be coming up on that Lights Out card on October 7th, I believe, over in Long Beach. He's going to be fighting for a title over there. Andrew, the Alchemist Campos. How's it going, my man?
It's going good, bro. It's going good. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you. Last time we were just talking a little bit, seeing each other at CCFC, Daniel Compton's Central Coast Fighting Championship on May 6th. You had a hell of a performance there. You finished them in below 30 seconds. I believe it was a 10-second knockout, right?
I think it was 17, yeah. 17, yeah.
That was an absolutely insane KO. I remember watching the fight and I was recording, trying to get highlights, and I just stopped recording for a little bit. And as soon as I stopped recording, you landed that finishing shot and put him out, and you put him out cold, man. And that's what your hands seem to do in your fight, seem to put a lot of people down. Has that always followed you?
No, yeah, definitely. Boxing has always been my bread and butter, I feel like. So I've always been really good with the hands. My hands has probably been my strongest weapon. I knew I had the power to do something like that, and I think and I've hurt people with my hands, but that was the first time I put somebody out like cold. So that was like that was a cool feeling. I'm glad the opponent was okay, but I knew I've always known I have the power to do it, but it was just the first time actually doing it in a cage, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you have a very grappling, you have that nice heavy grappling style, but you also know how to throw them hands. You have a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. You oftentimes like to compete in tournaments. What would you say was your first flame? Because I know you said you like boxing a lot, but purple belt in jiu-jitsu, that means you've been putting time in on the mats. So is it like, if you had to pick in between one or two for your real, like, true love and flame, what would it have to be?
Damn, that's like asking, like, if I don't have kids, but if somebody had kids, that's like asking like to pick
The
between a
favorite
kid.
kid.
Damn, that's pretty hard. But I'd probably have to say jujitsu. Maybe I feel like jujitsu is never ending, and there's like always like new stuff being created even today. So I feel like it's a lot of a lot of techniques, and you can never like get too good at jujitsu. But yeah, that's a hard one for sure.
There's always a new way to learn how to break a limb. That's somebody told
Yeah,
me that one time on the mats. They're like, it's crazy, man. You go on Instagram and you just find all these guys, and they've been
yeah,
doing crazy chokes that you've never even seen on your
yeah.
mats, or you've never just seen in general. So definitely can see what you're saying with the jiu-jitsu, and how it's a lot more of a, you can just continue to grow, even as people that are growing older, like coral belts, they even learn things
Oh
that they've
yeah,
never seen before. So
oh
that's
yeah.
pretty cool. um but for you, you're very young into your MMA career. I'd say you're four fights deep. How would you
Mhm.
say your experience has gone so far over there in the Bay Area, just fighting? Because definitely it's a pretty interesting scene over there in the Bay with fighting, and just, I feel like overall in general, trying to find fights, because the competition level, it's pretty high up compared to a lot of the other amateur levels that you're going to find across the state.
No, absolutely. I think the fight culture in the Bay Area has always been pretty good. Dragon House was like been around for a long time, so it's cool like getting to fight for them. And like you said, like a lot of these guys are already ready to turn pro, just like myself. Like a lot of these guys are pretty much already right there, fighting their last couple fights as an amateur. So I'm excited to be one of these names that's in the mix of like the top guys ready to pretty much turn pro. So no, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, the Bay Area is like has a huge fight culture, so it's awesome.
Speaking about guys that are possibly looking to go pro, also speaking about yourself, you fought a guy that's had about 8 fights or so on his record. Last time out, Ramon Cornejo, a
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very experienced fighter in Camo MMA. You guys had an amazing fight.
yeah.
Take us through that, my man. How was the fight going through for your eyes?
It started off good. I mean, I think I was a little like lackadaisical in my performance. I feel like I was a step behind. I was like, yeah, I was definitely a step behind in that fight. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, he kind of controlled me on the fence the first round. I think the second round, I took his back, and I kind of had him against the cage, had his back for like most of the round. And then the third round, he kind of like did his game plan. We knew what he was going to do. You know, he's really good at what he does. You know, we were expecting him to kind of hold me against the cage and kind of work his clinch like he's done in all of his fights. So we were expecting that, and he kind of still was able to kind of do his game plan. So hats off to him. But yeah, no, I definitely didn't feel like I got like beat up. Like it's not like I got taken down, mounted, and ground and pounded. Nothing like that. It was kind of just a few technical errors that I made in the fight. But yeah, I think the gap between me and him is very slim. Like it's not like a drastic, huge difference. Like I'm right there. I'm right there, right behind him.
Yes, watching that fight, I wasn't able to be there in person, sadly, but that was a fight I was super looking forward to getting to watch whenever it was uploaded on YouTube. And
Mhm.
watching it, I was still so surprised. And obviously, we are talking about the power of that right hand. You put down Ramon Cornejo with that right
Yeah,
hook, and I was like, "Oh wow, this fight could get
yeah,
pretty." And I seen the results, and I, obviously seeing you were a little bit upset in the moment. Was
yeah.
it perhaps because of the, because of the knockdown, because of the back control? Were you maybe thinking like, "Hey, I possibly could get a decision off of this. This is possibly my
No,
fight."
yeah.
And I,
No, no, yeah, definitely, definitely. I feel like I came closer to finishing the fight than he did. I think I dropped him and I had his back. I almost had a choke in, so I came closer to finishing that fight than he came to finishing me. No, yeah, and I think me knowing that I have this power, like to kind of like draw people, I think I can't let that be my downfall at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I can't just go rush in there trying to hit everybody because then then I'll get taken down. Get caught in between the exchanges and people will change their levels and shoot. So I think knowing how to just kind of use it and yeah, just be a little more smarter in there, not like chase because I know I have the power, but I can't be just chasing people around the octagon, and I got to stay technical as well. So
no, if that is obviously a very a technical performance from Ramon Cornejo. So
yeah,
shout out
no,
to him. There was no but yes, I felt like the fight, like how you said, it was oftentimes like a lot of the exchanges. I was very, very surprised of how close it was to finishing because I was like, oh wow, even with that back take
yeah,
and
exactly,
like how we were saying earlier with the right hand. But Ramon is definitely one of those guys that is a very, very good pressure fighter. And I feel like
yeah,
is going to see that in the pros, and we're going to see you in the pros as well. Is that possibly going to see? We're going to see that rematch. Going to see
yeah.
possible realignment of your guys' paths.
No, absolutely. We asked for it. We asked for a rematch on Zhang's next show, but I think he has other plans. They have other plans. But we asked for it. We asked for the rematch, but I think they got other plans. And like he doesn't have to rematch me, you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have to. Like, if I was him, I probably wouldn't do it either. I'd be like, no, you had your chance, like, he's already won a bunch of titles. So like good for him. But yeah, I mean, we could absolutely fight later down in the pros. So yeah. So but I'm not like holding on to it, like, oh, I want that one back. Like but we did ask for it, and but yeah, he got other plans. I got other plans too, so it's all good. We'll probably meet later down the line.
Yes, you guys are definitely both very good athletes. So I feel like you guys will
Yeah,
not have a lack of fights being planned for you guys, and you guys are going to have to result to this one fight being planned. And nor do I feel like
yeah,
you need to really hold on to this fight because it was a great performance from you, great performance from Ramon. And sometimes in those fights, you really
yeah,
just, like how you said, nitpick the finer details and just really
yeah,
get back to work and get back in that cage, which is exactly what you were looking to do on October 7th against Byron Valle, an opponent from the Southern California area. I actually got to talk to him a little bit before he got news of the matchup. He was looking for a championship fight. You
mhm,
just got out of a championship fight. How does
yeah.
it feel to kind of be back in that same scenario that you were in? Yeah, obviously just a month or so prior, facing off against Ramon Cornejo back in those championship rounds. Is it kind of just the same type of feeling throughout camp? Take us through that experience going to go and fight over there in the Southern California area.
Um, yeah, no, yeah. Luckily, the furthest place I fought in was Reno, so I had a kickboxing fight one time in Reno. So I'm used to kind of traveling a long distance. So I've done it before, So that the traveling stuff that'll be good. We'll be flying down there. Um, yeah, no, it's just another fight for me. Kind of feels the same. 3 3s. We spar 3 3s, or I spar 3 5 sometimes at the gym. So it's just another fight for me. I'm not really thinking about the title too much. It's just 3 3s that I got to go in there, and yeah, just have another fight and put on another performance.
Yes, you're looking to go out there with your coaches. Murphy Jiu Jitsu over there at the UFC. Is it like the head of the kind of the gym that you guys have over there in San Jose? You guys have classes over there, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of everywhere at the moment, but I'm training jiu-jitsu at the UFC Fit with Coach Murph under Chris Murphy. Yeah. So I do my jiu-jitsu there. I do my MMA and my wrestling at AKA. And then I have another little boxing gym called Lifestyle Training Center where we have a boxing ring. That's where I do my boxing work, footwork and hit mitts and hit the heavy bag, more boxing. So I'm kind of like, yeah, at those three places right now.
It's one of those advantages to, like how we said earlier, being in that fight culture of the Bay Area. How is it to get to train with all those great minds, like how you said, getting to train with Murphy and Jiu-Jitsu, and then getting to go over and go to AKA and get to train MMA and get to get aligned with all those minds? Because, like how you said, fight culture is super heavy in the Bay Area, and there's definitely not only guys that have done it, been
Yeah.
legends in the game, but also guys that are coming up and some pretty heavy hitters.
No, yeah, it's dope to kind of surround myself with people that are like-minded. So we all have the same goals, you know. So it's pretty dope just to be able to be around that every single day. My mentor, Coach Murph, so it's nice to be able to like have him keep me on a nice straight path and just keep working towards the goal. But yeah, no, it's definitely great. Like I'm surrounded by a lot of like-minded people, and we're all kind of just rising up together. So it's cool.
Yeah, it definitely can be pretty cool when you have those same minds just right along the line with you. It's oftentimes like
Yeah,
how they say with ships, like if you have a bunch of people that know how to kind of navigate a ship and they're all on the same boat, they're able to kind of find a lot more joy in it than people that are just standing there and just kind of like, oh
oh
yeah,
yeah,
we're on a boat, because you see the
yeah,
beauty, you see the hard, like the labor, you see like, oh man, he had to do this, he had to do this to get to this path, he had to do this to get to this area. So definitely very cool to see all of you guys kind of rise out throughout the ranks. When is there a possibility that we're going to get to see you get out of that camo sphere, get out of the amateur ranks, and go kind of into the pro scene? Because I know you were kind of hinting at it a little bit earlier, talking with Zung Lao and possibly going over there and fighting professional. Is there a date that we could possibly see after this Byron Valle fight, or are you playing it
yeah.
by ear?
So we got something maybe working on December. So that might December I think will be my last amateur fight. But yeah, my goal beginning into this year was this will be my last year as an amateur. So I told myself at the beginning of the year, this is it. I'm gonna compete as many fights as I can and do as many jiu-jitsu tournaments as I can, just to rack up the experience. One more year, just compete as much as I can. So I'm gonna ideally go out there, win this title October 7th, and then we got something for December 2nd, possibly. That'll probably be my last amateur fight, and that'll put me at 6 fights in 9 months. Once I fight in December, that'll put me because I made my debut in April, so
Yeah.
that'll put me at 6 fights. Yeah, 6 fights in 9 months, and then yeah, 2024 January February, just turn pro, and then so probably next year. Yeah, next year.
What was
Yeah.
the sudden urge for you to kind of just really hop into that cage and get the gloves going? Because obviously
Mhm.
having this combat experience beforehand, was there always a plan for you? Like, I'm going to go into MMA. This is going to be the sport for me. Or was there other paths that kind of helped you to push yourself into MMA? I know you talked about that boxing path earlier, talking about
Mhm.
jiu-jitsu. Tell us exactly how you got pushed into this MMA track and how it got jet lifted so fast, man. Because 6 fights in
Yeah.
1 year that's pretty fast for a lot of people.
No, yeah, thankfully I haven't been like seriously hurt and I've been like healthy throughout this whole time for the most part. So that's been good. But yeah, dude, yeah, exactly. Like you said, this has always been my plan. I always knew when I was like, I think like 13, I was like eighth grade. I kind of like stopped playing basketball. I was like not interested in that. Obviously, you can't go to the NBA, like, so I started getting into fighting like around in middle school. So I started wrestling as soon as I got in high school. I started wrestling. I wrestled freshman and sophomore year. I started running cross country because I knew I needed to have good conditioning for fighting because I was going to fight in a cage one day. So I started running cross country. I got in really good shape. And I still hold that cardio today. I feel like I still go on my runs every once in a while. But yeah, this was always been the plan. And I started doing jiu-jitsu junior year. So I've kind of spent my time doing each discipline. And I started boxing. I had boxing fights, kickboxing fights. So I kind of spent my time just doing each discipline. And now I was at the beginning of the year, I was like, all right, now it's time to put it all together and fight MMA. And now here we are. But yeah, I spent all my time competing in each discipline, training in each discipline. So yeah, and this year I wanted to put it all together. I knew I was ready. And yeah, so I kind of just put it all together this year.
You think if you sat down with the Andrew Campos freshman year, getting into cross country, getting into all of that, you sat
Yeah.
him down, you get him, and you say, "Hey, write down 3 goals of what you want to do when you're an adult." Do you think his goals are what he is exactly aligned? Do you feel like those 3 goals maybe are it's the same alignment of what you have now?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like I thought I was gonna be like already a fucking star by this point. Like I thought like 23. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have like $1 million, like But I was pretty naive. I was like, what,
The
13 years old?
naive,
Like,
yes.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
just
It's
about to
like,
say the naiveness of being
yeah,
young. You think, oh yeah, it's gonna all come to me, but continue on. You were saying, being
yeah,
young and being naive,
yeah.
it can definitely add to supplement um that superstar charisma, and I feel you
No,
definitely
exactly.
have it, you definitely
Yeah.
have it, and you're still very young to be 23 years old, you said?
Yeah, I'm 23. I'm turning 24 in October next month, and then yeah, and then next year I'll just turn professional, so I'll be 24 years old, turning pro. So it's a perfect time. I feel like everything happened at the right time. I didn't do it too early. I didn't do it too late. I'm proud of my journey, proud of everything I've done. 12 amateur fights in total, including boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. So I pretty much have 12 fights. October 7th will be 13. So I'm proud, and I feel like everything is just led me to the fighter, the martial artist that I am today, like my whole journey. So I wouldn't change it for anything.
Is there anything you're looking forward to going to do over in the Long Beach area when you're heading over there to fight? I know obviously your mind's going to be set on that prize of the belt, but possibly after. Long Beach is a pretty fun area. I know you are from the Bay, probably don't get to go out there a whole lot. Any chance that you're going to go head over to any spots? I know they got that crazy it is it's like a haunted I think it's like the St. Mary, I believe. The St. Mary. They have the
Yeah.
St. Mary over there. They got tons of attractions. Anything you're gonna go do over there in the Long Beach area?
No, I'm down. I mean, I'm down. Maybe Saturday night. Hopefully, I don't get out of the arena too late or where we're fighting. But yeah, maybe Saturday night. Hopefully, we win. We'll try to go do something before we leave on Sunday morning. But yeah, I'm down. Maybe it could be anything. Maybe just going out to a spot to eat or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what me and Murph want to do after we win. So yeah.
Is there a possibility any science labs are gonna get hit up? I know you're the Alchemist, so is there any UCLA and USC collaborations that we should be looking and keeping our eyes peeled for?
No, I hate school. I hate, I hate school. That's what's funny. I hate school. I decided to kind of go with the Alchemist after I read the book, the novel. So from there, I decided to kind of change my ring name to that because I read the book and like my mind was like, like I'm Santiago, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm that kid on a journey right now. So I kind of after I read that book, it really resonated with me. So that's why I decided to go with the Alchemist.
That's pretty cool. I've never actually seen somebody align themselves with the main character like that and put themselves in the shoes like that. Obviously, people have it maybe with movies, but The Alchemist, it's a very kind of it's one of those books that like people read when they're in school or people read when they're like getting kind of brought up, and it's like, hey, like read this is a piece of knowledge, and I feel like that's a pretty cool book to kind of base your MMA career off of. I feel like that's not one of the books that gets thrown around. There's like the 48 laws of power, they got like the samurai book, and the Alchemist is definitely a pretty cool one to add to that, my man. But thank you so much for your time today, Andrew. It's been obviously awesome to catch up with you. Been a very long time since we've got to sit down and chat a little bit. But was there anybody that you wanted to thank? Obviously, a whole lot goes into fight camp, a whole lot goes into the preparation for everything. Did you have any sponsors, anybody in particular that was helping you throughout this fight camp? I know you had your coaches, but was there anybody else that you were just maybe wanting to give a little bit of thanks to in this interview?
No, all my teams, everybody, all my training partners at AKA, at UFC Fit, Lifestyle Training Center where I do my boxing, Omar for letting me use that gym. My whole management team, Genesis Sports Management, Hi, Mac, Dad, all the guys at GSM, they've been like pretty much guiding me my career so far. And Mac is my manager, so he's been the guy kind of reaching out and talking to the promoters. So I'm thankful for them and all the opportunities they've given me so far. And I know kind of feels like I've done a lot in such a short amount of time. So I'm really thankful for them for getting me all these opportunities and just letting me just go fight. So Coach Murph, my head coach, everybody, appreciate everybody.
Well, I'm pretty sure the fans are going to be very, very excited when they get to watch you step into the cage on October 7th as you face off against Byron Valle in what should be a killer matchup between both of you gentlemen, a 3-1 Andrew Campos. And then I believe Byron Valle is 3-0 over there in the Southern California area, but it should be a very, very highly contested bout between you both. Both of you guys can scrap on the feet. Both of you guys can wrestle. So I'm very, very excited to see where this fight plays out. I will be looking to watch it and we'll be looking to keep an eye on it. Hopefully my guy Sean Merriman is looking out as well. Hopefully looking to possibly put you guys on a card in the future. But until then, thank you so much for your time. Once again, Andrew, it's been awesome talking to you. Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media, and we are going to be signing out today for the 10-second mark with the one, the only, Andrew the Alchemist Campos.